Public key cryptography, asymmetric cryptography. I like this. This is a relatively new technology. Came out in 1977, 76, developed by Whit Dippy, Martin Hellman. At least they're the ones credited with it. We actually found out a little while ago a researcher working for the Ministry of Defense in England actually developed it a few years before, but it was classified royal secret, so he'll never get credit, and Dippy and Hellman will always have it, so lucky them. Now, this is different from symmetric. Symmetric, we had only a single key. Here we got two keys. One public key. Everyone in the universe has the public key. Everyone, or at least you can assume that for the exam. You put it out in a key ring, you distribute it, it's freely available. The public key is not a secret. Then you got the private key and this public-private key pair. Be careful on the term private key. With symmetric, the term private key is also used to refer to symmetric encryption. But that key is kept private and it's only a single key. Here we're talking about the private key and a public-private key pair. With the private key, you are the only entity in the universe that should have your private key. No one else. So no one can compromise you because no one else has it. You encrypt with one key, you decrypt with the other. We have what's called an open message. You encrypt with your private key. What decrypts it? It's not going to be your private key because it can't decrypt what the private key encrypts. Only your public can. Who has your public key? The whole universe. So anyone can read the message. And you may be thinking, oh, that's not real good for secrecy. You're right, that isn't. But it has another benefit. It was encrypted with your private key. Who has your private key? That's right, only you. So anyone getting that message knows it came from you. Authenticity, and from their point of view, they know you wrote it, and you can't deny being the writer of that message because you're the only one with your private key, so there's non-repudiation against you. You can't deny it. That's beautiful. And now let's do that confidential message. You're sending a message to someone that you want only them to read. You're going to encrypt it with, and this is the different part, you're going to use their public key. Everyone has their public key. Anyone can encrypt a message to them. You encrypt with their public key. You send it to them. What's going to decrypt it? It's not going to be their public because it can't decrypt what the public encrypts. It's going to be their private. Who has their private key? There's only one person in the universe with that key, and that's them. So they're the only one that can decrypt this, so you know that they're the only one that can read it. Confidentiality. Absolutely fantastic. What if we wanted to do both confidentiality and authenticity and non-repudiation? I know that's three, but we put authenticity and non-repudiation together as a single item. We could do what's called a box inside of a box. We're going to wrap it. We're going to encrypt the message using their public key. No, let's do it the other way. We can encrypt the message using our private key and send it off. And so who can open that? Only anyone with our public key. Okay, well that's not going to do a whole lot for the confidentiality. But now that we have that encrypted, we can then encrypt that whole thing, the encrypted message, with their public key. We're wrapping it inside of another box. And then send that final thing over to the recipient. Well, they've got to unwrap the outer box. That outer box is wrapped with their public key. So to open that box, to get to the inner contents, they have to use their private key. No one else can open that box but them. So it's going to be confidential just because of that. They open it up. Oh, well, then the package is wrapped inside that box, but it's wrapped with the sender's private key. Well, everyone has the sender's private key. Everyone has the sender's public key, so anyone can open it. But only that person can open it because they opened the outer box. So they use the sender's public key. They open it, they get the message. They know who sent it, and they're the only one that can read it. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. If you're going to review a section, this is one to review. Okay. This works. But there's some problems. Asymmetric cryptography is slow. If If you really want to encrypt a whole message, a file, you're going to die of old age before you get this done. So not real good. So we're going to have to fix that somehow, but it does allow for digital signatures, the signing of a hash with your asymmetric key so someone knows it came from you. We're going to look at that a bit more in just a moment.